through fire and water. Hawaii reveals why it's a paradise for all. Including 40 species of sharks. Dr. Mike Heithaus and PhD candidate Francis Faribaugh are here to learn what makes this scattering of fiery islands a shark magnet.
Oh, wow, look at the size of that shark.
Oh, you got so close.
Here it comes.
The volcanic islands of Hawaii are home to a lot of incredible marine life. The coral reefs on Hawaii are incredibly diverse and are a beautiful buffet for animals like sharks.
People often think of the oceans as just teeming with life, but it turns out that vast stretches, especially of the open ocean, are more like deserts. Volcanic islands like those of Hawaii are important to sharks for a few reasons. One of the most important is that they create an incredible amount of habitat. So in the middle of kind of a desert, they're an oasis.
When volcanic islands arise out of the middle of the ocean, they provide a lot that is important for animals. Mostly, they provide habitat, including coral reefs and shallow lagoon areas where animals can find food and shelter.
Hawaii's volcanoes get all the press. But its undersea landscape is just as spectacular. And key to why sharks are drawn here.
Hawaiian reefs are pretty incredible. There is tons of fish here, but there are other species that might be food for sharks. You got sea turtles for tiger sharks, but there's one species that's really unique in Hawaii, and that's the monk seal.
The Hawaiian monk seal is one of the most endangered animals on Earth. There are less than 2,000 left in the wild. They're protected, but under siege by humans and sharks. Monk seals feed along Hawaii's coastal reefs, which is also prime hunting grounds for one of Hawaii's most fearsome predators.
One of the larger species of sharks we see on volcanic islands here in the Pacific are the Galapagos shark. Now, they're called the Galapagos shark, but they're not actually unique to the Galapagos. We see them here in Hawaii, and they can get pretty large, upwards of 9-10 feet long.
Monk seals try to avoid the Galapagos' 14 rows of serrated teeth and its aggressive behavior. They stay away because these sharks will even feed on other sharks. But Galapagos aren't here just for the food. Hawaii lures them in for another reason. Now, Mike and Francis head to a Galapagos hotspot off the island of Oahu to see what makes this the perfect rendezvous.
Male and female sharks don't always hang out in the same places. This is what we scientists call sexual segregation. So just like for people, it can be difficult for male and female sharks to find one another. You might use a dating app, but sharks use locations. They come together in one place to mate.
Once male and female sharks find each other, the males actually have to grab onto the female and then use their claspers for mating. And, you know, that leaves scars. We're gonna go in here and see if we can see scars on the female Galapagos sharks, because it might give us clues as to whether they're using this area for mating.
Caution is key. Many of the shark attacks occurring in Hawaii happen off Oahu, where they're diving. Safety divers will give Mike and Francis extra eyes while they concentrate on gathering photographic evidence of mating. A Galapagos arrives.
Swimming with these Galapagos sharks can be pretty intense because you can go from one shark to 10 to 20 or even more really quickly.
You got to make sure you're watching your back and your buddy's back.
Mike and Francis are careful as they look for scars.
Two really obvious ones, one on the nose. There's a bigger one that has bites on the flanks, but she's pretty shy.
I've got a few good shots of the one with scars on the nose, but not the individual with a lot of scarring down the side.
Yeah, I got a good, decent pass to the bigger one with the scars on the side, but I'd like to get another shot. Let's see if we can survey the rest of the animals down there.
Soon, 2 sharks become 12. And Mike and Francis are surrounded.
It's a lot of sharks.
Yeah, I think I've got pictures of at least 15 individuals. How about you?
About the same, I think.
Well, I'd say we got enough to look for those scars, so let's call it a day.
All right.
The photos and video reveal that Galapagos sharks are not just predating, but also mating within the shadow of the volcano.
One had a little bite on the nose, another had big scars on the side, and one had at least that stereotypical bite right on the pectoral fin that males like to grab onto.
Which is evidence that there really is mating happening with these Galapagos sharks here on the volcanic islands of Hawaii.
The reefs and channels off Oahu are an ideal spot for finding mates. Where there's food, you'll find other sharks. But it's not just the reefs. The shallow harbors also hold some allure for these predators.
We're in Kaneohe Bay, and it is a beautiful spot, but it doesn't have the crystal clear waters you might expect in Hawaii. In fact, it's kind of green, and you can see the cliffs behind me, and that's one of the reasons why. You can get the rain and the runoff, and that puts nutrients in the water. You get plankton blooming, and that fuels the base of the food web that can mean lots of food for baby sharks.
Pregnant female hammerheads enter the silty bay to give birth. Their murk makes it harder for predators, like large sharks, to find them. Now, Mike and Francis aim to capture video of the young hammerheads to help confirm the bay is an active hammerhead nursery.
Our colleagues at the University of Hawaii have been studying the scalloped hammerhead nursery here in Kaneohe Bay for years, and we want to get a look. So we've set up a RUVS, or remote underwater video system, and we've used 4 cameras because this isn't super clear water, so we need to have cameras pointed in all directions to maximize our chances. So Francis is going to take this down and position it so it's pointed perfectly and isn't on any coral. Ready, Francis?
Ready.
While waiting to retrieve the cameras, Mike and Francis get word one of the largest sharks in Hawaii is outside the bay. Its name gives away its size.
We've got a whale shark here. This is Hawaii's biggest shark. And scientists are trying to figure out how many individuals there might be coming to these islands. So we're going to pop in and take a picture of its body behind its left gills, because that's an area where if you look at the spot pattern, you can tell individuals apart, kind of like a person's fingerprint.
Whale sharks don't so much swim as cruise. At around 3 miles per hour, about the same speed as a human walking. They're not only the largest shark in the world, but the largest fish, reaching up to 40 feet. But like most sharks, they pose no threat to humans.
This one was only about 18 to 20 feet, but they're here because there's lots of food. You've got coral spawn, you've got the small fish that this whale shark was feeding on.
Hawaii's volcanoes tempt these massive creatures like moths to a flame. The volcanic activity can stir up the ocean bottom, releasing nutrients that phytoplankton, their food, latch onto. Whale sharks can't resist these small critters. They use their gaping 4-foot mouth to suck them in.
There is something really awe-inspiring when you're in the water with an animal as majestic as a whale shark. They're enormous and they're beautiful with these spotted patterns, and they're just gentle giants that really take your breath away.
From the largest to the smallest, Hawaii Grand Sanctuary to sharks. With enough time passed, Mike and Francis secure the remote underwater video.
Well, the cameras have been in the water for 6 hours, so it's time to get them back up and see what we've got. Well, plenty of murk.
And fish, a few fish.
Okay, shark food too. Whoa.
We had some shark food and then a shark.
And a few sharks. Oh, that's great.
Gosh, they're moving so fast, it's kind of hard to tell what species they are. Oh,
But those are little, they're like
little. But what?
foot long, maybe.
Oh, hammerhead for sure. A foot and a half maybe is even generous.
Yeah.
12 inches maybe for some of these. So really, really young.
And the cool thing is there's no food in the water here near the cameras. These are just swimming around. So that's a lot of sharks.
Their hammer is so cartoonishly large for their tiny, tiny bodies.
Yeah, but those tiny bodies basically make them a snack for big sharks. So they don't want to be out here in these channels where they might get eaten. So the shallow flats are really perfect for them. Lots of sharks, lots of little sharks.
Yeah, this is a nursery for sure.
Absolutely.
And when the hammerheads are big enough, they leave the island's protective bays and grow to be one of Hawaii's top predators. It's then they exhibit an extraordinary schooling behavior, which the volcanoes might trigger. Hawaii's undersea lava flows have magnetic properties, which sharks can detect. Seamounts and volcanic pillars surround the islands.
These scalloped hammerheads get in big schools around seamounts, and then they head out along volcanic flows to get to that deep water and may use those magnetic fields as highways to get to and from these seamounts. We don't know if they're doing that here in Hawaii, so there's a lot left to learn.
The team observes the large schools. Some reported to have as many as 100 sharks.
Scalloped hammerheads are one of the few large sharks that we know of that congregate in these big groups. We don't really know fully why they're forming these schools. Maybe there's social reasons that they come together. Maybe it helps them save energy by swimming together, kind of like a bird flock.
The lava that could be attracting the sharks is something these islands never stop creating. The biggest island, called Hawaii, the chain's namesake, is the newest island in the archipelago. Like any youngster, it can throw a tantrum. It's home to Kilauea, one of the most active volcanoes on Earth. As superheated lava pierces cooling water, an elemental battle erupts. 600-degree lava meets 80-degree ocean. When the undersea magma flows, its outer shell cools and hardens, creating a hidden web of tunnels on the ocean floor. tubes are revealed when ceilings collapse. These volcanic structures hold a special attraction for one species of shark.
Behind me, you can see this black rock that is formed by lava flows from the volcano. These lava flows flow all the way down into the ocean, creating amazing structures, including lava tubes, that are favorite hangouts for white-tip reef sharks. They like to sleep in there, swim in and out. The question is, why?
White-tip reef sharks don't grow much bigger than 5 feet. Their downward curved jaws give them a perpetual grumpy look. It also allows them to scoop up prey like crabs and lobsters. Mike and Francis head to the lava tube known as Touch of Grey to seek out these mysterious sharks and why Hawaii's volcanic tubes pull them in.
We should be aware of the exits and entrances of the tube. Sharks can come in and out from any direction.
Copy that, Mike. I'll keep an eye out.
This undersea tube is one of the largest found off Hawaii. But it can feel really small when sharks and divers are there at the same time. With a tiger shark in the area, most small sharks make themselves scarce. But Francis finds these white-tip reef sharks to be unfazed. They even appear to be sleeping.
While you might have heard that sharks need to constantly keep moving to keep breathing and stay alive, that's only true for a handful of species. Many shark species can breathe fine while not in motion. For example, the white-tip reef shark can sit on the bottom and pump water through its gills and be perfectly happy. And while they might look like they're asleep, they're fully awake.
When they're resting, you'll often see them tucked back in under a coral head or maybe in a lava tube, which can kind of act as a fortress where no tiger shark can get them. And also has the benefit that there are no currents down there, so you don't have to worry about getting swept away.
It's a great way to avoid being eaten. Instead of fleeing or fighting, you do something very Hawaiian. You chill.
This is incredible. You can see why they stay under here. No current and no predator can get them.
Absolutely. If it's tough for us to dump our heads in, there's no way a tiger shark could get under here. The only thing these white tips need to worry about is how long to relax.
But as relaxing as this may be, even small sharks leave the safety of the cave to eat. Hawaii's reefs aren't just a place for sharks to meet, grab a meal, or hide from predators. They serve another role for sharks of all sizes.
It's not something we often think about with sharks, but they're actually full of parasites sometimes. There are lots of little creatures that will live on their skin that will actually feed on the shark, and the sharks don't want that. I mean, who would?
The reefs provide cleaning stations for sharks. Think of them as underwater spas, a place for sharks to get a special skin exfoliation. The spa workers are Hawaiian cleaner wrasse, whose specially designed mouth allows them to suck up parasites from its clients. Mike and Francis target a nearby shark spa to see what types of visitors it attracts. Local diver Jeff Leischer will be their guide.
Is there any particular place we should put our cameras?
Well, when we first get there, we're going to just peek over the top and look down on them. When you're doing that, plan your strategy. Look for spots where the cleaners are hanging out. Look for spots where the sharks tend to want to get clean.
All right, well, let's get in the water.
The goal is to set up remote cameras to get footage of this behavior.
When we approach the edge of the canyon, let's come in low and slow.
Absolutely. These sharks are known to be timid. If we come in too fast, we might spook them and they might scatter.
Mike and Francis observe a swarm of gray reef sharks waiting to be cleaned. By placing 4 cameras, the team hopes to cover every angle. The hidden cameras reveal a secret world seldom seen by prying eyes. A world where predator and prey call a truce.
The relationship between sharks and cleaner fish is something scientists call a mutualism, which basically means both parties win.
The sharks get clean, the fish get a meal, and everyone is really happy. In addition to that, it can help these parasites from becoming a larger problem.
But not all sharks are reef dwellers. Lucky for them, Hawaii's diverse habitats have them covered. Some of Hawaii's volcanoes climb over 5 miles up from the ocean floor. From base to highest point, they're the largest mountains on Earth, taller than even Everest. This creates the deep water channels over a mile down that oceanic whitetips love to hunt in. A world of endless blue. They cruise for miles and days looking for prey. But as Mike and Francis search for oceanic whitetips off Hawaii's volcanoes, it's clear these waters also provide for other large predators.
So we're about 4 miles off the Kona coast here, and we've been approached by a group of pilot whales. This pod has maybe 20, 25 individuals in it.
Pilot whales are actually dolphins and feed on fish and squid.
They're a deep water species, so they like to forage deep underwater, 2,000 feet down or even more. And they're thought of as the cheetahs of the sea, partially because they go down slow and then they really sprint that last bit to catch that squid. It's really rare to see them this close to shore, but here with the volcano off the Big Island, that slope goes down really fast, and so they have that deep hunting ground really close to shore. Another thing that's really special about these pilot whales here off Hawaii is that often they're followed by oceanic white-tip sharks. And we still don't know why those sharks follow them around. That's what we're here to find out.
So Mike and Francis aim to attach a camera to an oceanic and gather never-before-seen footage detailing why this behavior happens here.
This is the camera we want to get on the back of an oceanic white-tip shark following these pilot whales. It's got a camera that can record at the surface or get video deep underwater where they might be feeding around the whales.
The camera package slides into this clamp system right here. This will slide on to the dorsal fin of the animal, just in there, and has flotation, so that when this dissolves, the whole package will pop off and we can retrieve it.
All we got to do is get it on a shark.
Freediver Corey Foltz will be the one attaching the tag on the fin of the shark. His ability to hold his breath for minutes on end and his experience with oceanic whitetips makes him the perfect choice.
Since their habitat is essentially a big desert, when they come across anything that they can potentially feed on, they have to take advantage of it.
Known as the shipwreck shark, it's notorious for showing up when ships sink or planes crash. Corey mobilizes the team when the oceanic whitetip is spotted trailing the pilot whales.
As soon as we get in the water inside off the boat, we're gonna wanna keep our heads below the surface. Any communication is basically gonna be in terms of if somebody does see an oceanic whitetip. So as soon as we see one shark, lift your head, let everyone else know so that we all get eyes on that shark.
Mike and Francis act as safety divers for Corey. It's not a single shark they have to worry about, but a pair.
Watch behind. There's a shark still here.
Corey zeroes in. With a second shark in the area, getting the camera on the fin just got more dangerous.
Awesome, you guys. This is a great candidate. Nice big male.
Oh, you got so close.
Yeah, we just want to be sure to be extra cautious as he's getting a little excited and he definitely wants to check us out. So good job, you guys. Keeping your heads on a swivel, always looking. We're gonna hang out in the water and we're gonna see if he gives us another opportunity to get this camera onto his fin.
All right, sounds good.
The team resets.
Oh, awesome.
Hang on.
Nice job. That was perfect.
Super good post-deployment behavior. Animal didn't freak out. The tag's nice and low. So you guys, we're gonna hang out in the water for just a couple minutes. Make sure the tag's set, it's not going anywhere. And then we're gonna let the animal be. We'll hop back on the boat.
Sounds great.
Too cool.
Hours later, the team uses a VHF receiver to track down the camera. A gyre of currents, whitecaps, and the vastness of the Pacific make finding the camera difficult. Any data they retrieve will help in better understanding why the oceanic whitetips follow the Hawaiian pilot whales.
Towards 1 o'clock? Yeah, that's it, straight on.
About 75 yards just this side of the glassy patch. There it is right there.
Oh,
out
you
toward
got
that
it?
tide
Yeah,
line.
straight on.
Good job.
Yes.
Camera retrieved and footage downloaded.
We learned a few things from this first camera deployment. One is that that shark went down to about 30 or 40 feet and was swimming kind of straight, maybe trying to maintain contact with the pilot whales even though we didn't see them. We also saw another shark enter frame. They didn't really interact much, so maybe there are multiple sharks following these pilot whales, not really as a group, but just kind of like, hey, we're both following this group of whales.
Then the shark decided to remove the camera in epic fashion.
Even though the shark showed no reaction really to having the camera on it, it eventually kind of went deeper and then turned toward the surface and just rocketed up, jumped in the air and spun, and the camera went flying off. We don't know if that was a reaction to the camera, but yeah, that's the kind of behavior you might expect to see if it was trying to get rid of a remora. Other cameras have gone on oceanic whitetips without that happening. So as we go forward, we're just gonna have to see how they react.
Although the camera didn't film the Oceanic's interaction with pilot whales, the footage reveals that future deployments could record this extraordinary relationship. From its volcanic core to its 3,000-foot cliffs, these islands seem to live by the mantra, the bigger, the better. And like the sharks, one of the largest creatures on Earth is drawn to Hawaii's bounty. Humpback whales spend their summers in the waters of Alaska. But come winter, Hawaii beckons.
These tropical waters are the perfect place for humpback whales to raise a calf and find a mate. And that's one reason that 10,000 whales swim up to 100 miles a day. But when they get here, there's trouble in paradise. Tiger sharks congregate here in the winter as well, and they could be a real threat to baby humpback whales.
Tigers aren't tourists like the humpbacks. They're year-long residents. Their distinctive stripes and their voracious appetite give them their name.
Here in Hawaii, the apex predator is really tiger sharks.
These are incredible animals that can grow to be more than 15 feet long.
And they have wide head and powerful jaws specifically designed to take on big prey. These jaws can easily cut through things like turtle shells, Hawaiian monk seals, dolphins.
This is one species that may actually be capable of taking on some of the biggest animals here in Hawaii that you'd think would have nothing to fear, humpback whales. Like their namesakes on land, tiger sharks are top predators that can take out big prey.
And Hawaii's waters are home to the biggest this time of year.
Tiger sharks are opportunistic predators, and a humpback whale calf represents an incredible opportunity. So a calf that strays too far from mom or is sick or weak could be in real trouble.
The key to staying safe, just like for humans, is for the calves to stay close to mom. The problem is adult humpback whales can hold their breath a lot longer than the juveniles. When mom goes down for a rest, she can stay under for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, even longer. The calf will have to surface multiple times during that interval, and that makes them vulnerable to tiger shark attacks.
Mike and Francis come upon a pod of humpbacks.
Oh, look out there. That was a huge pec slap.
Now they hope to see how vulnerable these whales really are.
We're here with a mother and calf pair. This is exactly what we've been looking for. We're gonna hop in the water and see if we can't see any signs of a shark attack.
If we find a humpback whale with a shark bite on it, we want to know how big the shark was that left that bite. So we need a measuring tool, and that's what this is. There are two lasers that are spaced 7.5 centimeters apart. It doesn't matter how far away the animal is or how close. Those laser dots are the same distance apart. So if we can get the lasers on an animal with a bite, we can see how big the bite is. That lets us figure out how big the shark was.
Mike and Francis get in position and wait for the whales to approach them. The tail reveals their suspicions.
Wow, did you see that?
Yeah. It's what I'd expect from a tiger shark.
Did you get a good shot of it? do you
I
think?
think I did. It was a really brief glance.
It's the perfect spot for a shark attack. Disable the fluke or tail, or anywhere along its back half called the peduncle, and the whale instantly slows down. With the bite mark information captured, Mike and Francis seek out the tiger sharks that might be attacking humpbacks. Their search leads them back to Oahu, about 4 miles offshore.
There we go. Coming
There she
straight
comes.
in.
Here she comes right here. So it looks like right now we've got a couple different individuals in the water. You can see the stripes on them. The markings really pop. The contrast is just beautiful. We also have a much larger individual here.
Here. Coming
Oh my
in.
goodness.
Oh, wow,
my
look at the
goodness, look at
size of that shark.
Oh, beautiful. 13, 14 feet maybe?
Sure looks every bit of that, but she's so beefy. We'll have to get in the water. But that's the kind of size of shark that actually might be willing to go after a humpback whale calf.
Well, let's get the lasers on her and get in the water.
Yep.
They found the sharks. Now to find out if this shark could be attacking whales.
This is our tiger shark bite pad, and it's basically gelatin or a big tiger shark Jello cube. So totally non-toxic if they take a big bite out of it, and it's been mixed to the density of whale or dolphin blubber. So the idea is I will take this pole, slide it in here, and then be able to present this to the sharks. They bite it, we'll get those teeth marks, the characteristic bite pattern for tiger sharks, and we'll also know the size of the shark. So what we can do is then look at those scars we saw in the humpback whales and get a sense of, was it tiger sharks? And if it was, how big were the sharks that left those marks? This has never been tried before on tiger sharks, so what could possibly go wrong? Okay, so I am pretty much ready to go. You've got the GoPro for video, you've got the stills, we should be all set.
Yeah, let's get the water.
Francis will work the special laser measuring device, while Mike tries to entice the shark. They size up 2 different tigers in the distance. The smaller juvenile and the larger adult.
Here it comes! It is a little chaotic with the smaller sharks, so stay right on my shoulder, try to get the lasers kind of when they're a little bit further away, and then I'll see what I can do to get the bite pad. But I will say I'm very glad we have 3 safety divers.
Indeed.
Here we go. Here's one. Oh, so close.
I know. So right now we're looking at a couple of different tiger shark individuals here. The big one, she's over 14 feet. She's beautiful and massive. Her name is Nikki. And we have a couple smaller juveniles as well. Now we've gotten Nikki to bite the bite pad a couple times, put it in her mouth, but she's not actually taking a good proper bite. So we're gonna see if we can't get her to take a nice big chomp out of that pad.
Time's running out.
So I will watch your back. Make sure I'm getting as many laser shots as possible.
I think we've only got about 1 or 2 more shots at this.
Let's make this happen.
Here we go.
The team gets into position. The tigers surround the divers.
Yes! That is fantastic. Sharks, they're so calm, but when she came up, she just got a hold of it. A few shakes of the head and straight through. You can see the size of that bite. This is exactly the kind of thing we need. We know how long she is from the laser data you got. So that's gonna let us get an idea of whether it's tiger sharks that bit those humpback whales and about how big the sharks might be. That is just fantastic.
So excited.
Yeah, tiger sharks are incredible predators, but they're also pretty famous for their scavenging abilities. Here in Hawaii, there are some major opportunities for scavenging. These humpback whales that are out here are giving birth, and so the placenta in the water could be a potential source of food. A dead whale is really a bonanza for tiger sharks, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go after a calf that's sick, injured, or maybe gets too far away from mom. Look at the size of that bite.
Beautiful and fits together like a puzzle piece.
You can easily see we're going to be able to measure the width of that bite, but it was not one clean
No, you can see
clean bite.
she gnawed at it a little bit there.
Well, and you think about how those teeth are built. They're not really built for puncturing in. They really do have to slice. And you see she must have like bit once and opened her mouth a bit because you've got this series of tooth marks there, and then she really gets a hold of it. And the cool thing, look at that, you can just see
the ripples there and the striations from the serrated teeth.
Yeah, and then how she whipped her head back and forth from the kind of pattern. That is really incredible. A tiger shark can cut through a turtle shell with those teeth. You know, getting through the tail of a humpback whale, it's certainly doable. When you look at the size of the bites on those pads from tiger sharks that were more than 11 feet long, and then look at the scar on that humpback whale, it tells us that the sharks that went after that whale were really big. 12, 13 feet, maybe even bigger.
Born out of violence. Hawaii shores now nurture, protect, and attract a creature as powerful and feared as the volcanoes that call to them.
It's really obvious why these volcanic islands of Hawaii are such an amazing place for sharks. They provide an incredible array of habitats in the middle of a veritable desert. And there's a buffet table for species of all shapes and sizes and places where they can grow up safe.
We have had the opportunity to see a lot of incredible sharks while here in Hawaii, and I think it's pretty clear why sharks call Hawaii home. Hawaii has everything sharks need to survive and thrive.
In a remote corner of Australia, a group of bull sharks is targeting sports fishermen with unprecedented ferocity.
Holy!
Showing evidence of a sophisticated new hunting behavior.
You need to hook 10, 15 fish just to get one to the boat.
Now, a research team is launching an ambitious investigation. Using groundbreaking technology to find out if one of the world's most dangerous sharks just got smarter. Weipa, a remote mining town located on the edge of northeastern Australia. Each year, hundreds of sports fishermen are drawn to its shores by seasonal fish migrations. But more and more, their catch is being stolen in audacious underwater raids. Some fishermen even claim the sharks have learned how to recognize and follow individual boats. Shark biologists Dr. Johan Gustafsson and Dr. Marial Familiar Lopez are here to investigate.
What's actually happening here is a behavior called depredation. And that's when a fisherman's caught a fish and they're winding it in, and then a shark will come and take that fish.
Locals claim they are losing as much as 80% of their catch to the sharks.
The level of depredation described by the fishermen hasn't been seen anywhere else in Australia or even the world.
Johan and Marial have timed their arrival with the height of the tuna fishing season. But with a weather front moving in, they have just 10 days until strong winds whip up a powerful swell and force their research vessel back to port.
We have a variety of equipment we're going to utilize. We've got acoustic tags, cameras, and the first time ever, a new cage design. If what the fishermen are saying is true, I want to know why.
Johan and Marial team up with local fisherman Wade Allen. Together, they're heading to one of his favorite fishing spots.
What's your experience with the sharks versus the anglers?
Definitely have an issue with the bull sharks. I believe they've definitely tuned in on the boats. They relate the boats to food.
Bull sharks are often depicted as mindless, opportunistic killers, but they're armed with an array of high-performance senses they could be using to target the fishermen. Smell many times more powerful than humans. Vision that pierces through the murkiest waters. And hearing that can pick up sound from over a mile away.
Do you think they're mainly bull sharks, the ones that are taking the fish?
I mean, it's hard for us to identify all the time because they'll eat our fish out of sight, but there are definitely a lot of bull sharks out here.
To find out for sure and see if the situation in Weipa is as bad as the fishermen claim, Johan and Marial go fishing for themselves.
We're using a fishing line camera to be able to ID the shark.
Is it a bull shark? Also, we're going to be able to see a bit more information about the behavior that's occurring. When does the shark come in? There we go. Let's get it in the water. All right, so we'll send this all the way to the bottom. How's my technique, Wade?
Spot on, mate. Couldn't do it better myself.
Yep. Oh, it's a fish. I got a fish. He's taking it down. Oh. All right, I'll try and bring it up. Oh, it's gone.
You got bitten off.
Yep, I think we got sharked.
Within moments of snaring a fish, Johan's catch is stolen by an unmistakable underwater raider. A bull shark.
Wow, that's a big shark. Over 3.5 meters. The fishing line camera did a great job. All right, we were able to confirm the species, and the first fish we caught, it was taken by a shark in 20 seconds. That gives more weight to what the fishermen are claiming up here. This is the first time I've been able to actually capture a depredation event so close up underwater. It was amazing.
Yeah, it is really amazing footage.
Now we've seen one shark underwater from the view of a camera. We want to see more. We want to see, are there other sharks around? So we need to get in the water with them.
In a place as remote as Weipa, that's a significant challenge.
You need to remember, we're diving in an area where sharks have never seen a cage.
Sharks have an acute sense of hearing. They use it to locate their prey, but also keep themselves out of danger. Loud, unfamiliar noises can put them on edge.
Sound is an important thing in an aquatic environment because it travels 4 times faster than in air.
The thing with sharks is loud, sudden, sharp noises tend to spook them.
The team has come prepared with a radical prototype, designed and built by underwater cinematographer Colin Thrupp. A noise-canceling cage made entirely of plastic.
So how do we reckon this is going to go when we get in the water? Do you reckon this joints are going to hold?
I mean, a cage made out of polyethylene pipe sounds a bit nuts when you first talk about it, but when you actually get these things together, it's pretty strong.
A world first. The cage has been forged using cutting-edge electrofusion welding, a technique that bonds plastic by superheating it to over 200 degrees Fahrenheit.
I've been told that, like, an earth mover can hit this and then bounce off.
Okay.
But I haven't heard what happens if a bull shark hits it.
Well, we'll test it.
That's what we're here to do. We're here to test it. We'll see.
What I'm hoping is that these sharks become more accustomed to this plastic cage, which is quieter and a little bit more stealthy. It's going to minimize the noise and hopefully get us closer to the sharks.
If the plastic cage works and sharks do come closer, this could be a game changer of how we study shark behavior, not just up here at Weipa, but around the world.
Topside. Please begin lowering the cage.
Monitoring the descent of the experimental cage is dive master Shay McGuinness.
So, can you give us a indication of the cage?
The cage is sitting fine. Over.
On the surface, Wade casts out. The water visibility is unseasonably poor, but his onboard sonar reveals there are big animals lurking below.
I have a big bull shark, 10 meters out. They're staying right on the edge of our periphery. We can only just see them.
The sharks move in closer. And there's more than expected.
There's at least 6, maybe 7 bull sharks directly beneath us, right on the edge of the murk.
They're not sure what we are. They're keeping a safe distance.
Encountering this big pack of bull sharks is the first clue something different is happening in the waters around Weipa.
A lot of the times I've seen them just by themselves, but here I'm seeing a group of bull sharks together.
Bull sharks are normally solitary and fiercely territorial. They're even known to be cannibalistic.
Do these sharks hang out here all the time? Do they hang out together all the time? What's the pecking order in this group? We have a lot of work ahead of us to answer these questions.
This is great.
All we need now is for Wade to get a fish on his line.
Divers. Just letting you know the swell and wind has increased. If it becomes unsafe or unworkable, let us know, over.
Another challenge the team must deal with has reared its head.
Copy that. Let's just see how we go.
This year, the whole of Australia is suffering from La Niña, an atmospheric phenomenon that plays havoc with the weather. Recent rainwater has been pouring out of nearby rivers, reducing ocean visibility, whilst unpredictable winds on the surface are churning up the coastal currents below.
Johan, does the cage feel steady?
cage is bouncing a lot.
We are concerned because this is a plastic cage. It hasn't been really used a lot of times, so we haven't really tested it that much.
The lightweight plastic cage is being pushed and pulled by the turbulent water. If the ropes connecting it to the boat snap, Colin and Johan could be swimming unprotected from the sharks.
Johan, copy. Johan, do you copy? Over.
Topside. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
The current's getting stronger, tipping the experimental cage on its side.
Has the cage stabilized? Over.
The cage is buckling under the pressure. You need to get us up now. Over.
Coming up now. Over.
Copy that.
We got you at the surface. Just wait there for a second.
Safely alongside the mothership, the damage becomes clear.
We had raging current. By the end of that, you could just see this thick plume of just muck just come through and sweep us and really like tip the cage. And the plastic cage didn't like it at all. It was really bowing under that pressure.
We were getting a little bit banged up underwater, but the plastic cage did do what it was supposed to do. We did get close to those sharks, and they did seem to not be spooked by us. I think we had around 6 to 10 sharks at any one time swimming around us up nice and close. We could almost touch them.
Johan and Marielle still need to observe sharks raiding the fishermen from underwater. But it will take several days for the cage to be repaired and strengthened.
Yep, grounded.
It gives them time to investigate a different question.
According to the fishermen, it's the noise of their vessels or the shape of their vessels that's attracting sharks to these fishing grounds.
Some locals claim an even more radical sea change, that the bull sharks have learned how to distinguish and follow individual fishing boats.
Johan and I have devised a little experiment to see if we can prove or disprove what the fishermen are telling us. Are the sharks really following their boats?
To find out how shrewd the sharks are, they need to be tagged with acoustic transmitters. These will monitor their movements. But to fit them, the sharks must be brought alongside the boat.
In my experience, rod and reel has always been the best option, just for us, but also for the welfare of the shark. We're there the whole time with it. Bring it in quickly, we can handle it faster, and we can release it faster.
Johan straps in. Landing a shark means going head-to-head against its power and strength.
Oh, we're on! Yep, we got one. It's a fair bit of weight. That's a decent shark. You can feel a strong head movement. Oh, we are gaining ground, boy!
Once we get the shark up close to the boat, we're going to be putting a head rope and then a tail rope, and then we're going to flip it upside down, so belly up, to try to put him in tonic immobility.
To roll the shark over, the team need to bring it closer to the boat and maneuver it with a rope attached to its tail.
It's definitely a bull.
Yep. Oh, it's a female!
She's feisty.
She's feisty.
power up's on.
Good work.
It's upside down and she's getting calmer. Tonic immobility is when a shark is put belly up.
Basically, they go into like a transient sleep state. They're not completely asleep or unaware. They can snap out of this, so we have to be quite cautious still.
The quicker the team works, the better it will be for both them and the shark. First up, the acoustic tag.
It'll allow us to map the movement patterns and behaviors of bull sharks in this area, and it's extremely pivotal to this experiment.
Okay, tag is on.
Measuring in at over 8 feet. This bull shark is a prize catch. The decision is taken to fit an additional fin camera.
It can tell us so much about that shark's behavior. How fast is the shark swimming? Are they swimming really close to the surface or are they going really deep?
This treasure trove of data will pop off the shark automatically in a few days. It's time to release the hook.
All right, let's get rid of this thing.
Yep, off.
Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go.
Woo-hoo! Perfect. Good release, guys.
Before they run their experiment, Johan and Marielle need to fit as many acoustic tags as possible. Working like a well-oiled machine, and with the shark's welfare in mind, they catch and swiftly release 4 more bull sharks.
Done.
All these tags that we're putting is getting us closer to an answer of what's going on here.
We're going to give them 24 hours to relax and go back to a more natural behavior before we start our experiments. The tagging experiment is designed to prove or disprove the fishermen's claims that sharks are following their fishing boats.
Johan and Marielle split up into 2 boats and both deploy hydrophone receivers.
We can detect the pings that are coming off those tags.
Two of the sharks they tagged are quickly located, still lurking together in the same fishing spot.
Yes, Johan, I've got 2 of our tag sharks here. How about you?
But hold on, we're going to come to you. Over.
The experiment can begin. Johan is in Wade's fishing boat. He'll cast out to get the shark's attention. Once they're stealing fish off his line, the fishing boat will move several miles down the coast. Marielle will track the tagged sharks from the second boat to see if they follow.
Johan is going to start fishing from the other boat, and he's going to wait for a depredation event.
Yeah, we've hooked up. Oh, it's a good size one. Oh no, I'm getting shut. No, that's changed. I think that's a shark. That's a shark. Oh, God. Oh. Oh no, it's off.
Marielle.
Got bitten off by a shark, so it is happening here.
I still got our 2 tag sharks here.
Okay, let's pack up everything here.
We're going to move down to the other side and we're going to see if they follow, okay?
Roger that.
The big question is, have the sharks followed?
Johan, do you copy?
Yes, I read you.
I don't pick up any tag sharks over here. Over.
Well, look, we've been here for 30 minutes now. I think that if they were following us from there,
We would have picked them up on the hydrophone by now. That's a result for us.
means they haven't followed us from that site.
The tagged bull sharks are nowhere to be seen. But at this new site, even without fishing, the onboard sonar reveals a school of different sharks lining up below.
That's a shark there.
That is interesting. What does this mean?
The experiment has delivered an unexpected result.
We don't think that sharks are following boats. What's more likely is this depredation behavior is much more widespread in the population of bull sharks up here at Weipa.
Rather than being followed by specific sharks, all the bull sharks in the region may have learned how to carry out these raids and could be ambushing the fishermen wherever they go.
We need to remember that this was just one small experiment with only a few tagged sharks. But what it does indicate is that the scale of these depredation behaviours could be occurring far more widespread and intense than what the fishermen realise.
It could explain why such a huge proportion of the fishermen's catch is being taken. But why do so many bull sharks in these waters appear to be conducting these raids? Forces beyond Weipa's shores are likely playing a role. Australian fish stocks have decreased by 31% over the past decade. Scientists believe this pressure could be forcing sharks to alter their natural hunting behavior. But it still leaves many questions unanswered.
We want to know, why is it so concentrated here in Weipa?
Now, halfway through their time in Northern Australia, the team has just 5 days until strong winds will force them back to port. Colin has fixed and strengthened the plastic cage. It's ready for him and Johan to go back in the water.
So far, we've only seen the depredation behaviour from the fishing line camera, but what we want to do is see it from the plastic cage, and that's the intention of this dive. We know that there is multiple sharks down there. Wade's up top, he's going to be fishing, and hopefully we'll be able to see, is there a hierarchy between different sized sharks? What's the etiquette at this dinner table?
On this dive, a 360-degree drop camera will help fight back against the unpredictable water visibility.
We're really hoping to get a lot of information from it.
The cage is lowered into position. On the surface, Wade casts out. Shadows emerge deep in the water.
I've got 2 bull sharks. 2 bull sharks, approximately 5 meters below us. Over.
The sharks are coming in closer.
They're getting more confident with us.
We've got 3 bull sharks around us now.
Topside, Wade has a fish on.
They're just circling.
Not coming in too close to take the fish.
The sharks are biding their time. But as the fish on Wade's line tires, they strike.
Big bull coming up, big bull. Here he comes. He's going for the fish. Oh, he's got it! How good was that?
We were expecting to see the shark come really fast and just like snap it from the line. But that's not what we saw.
It came in slow, no sense of urgency at all, and just basically plucked the fish off the hook. I've never seen that before. It was incredible. Another thing I noticed was the biting tactic. So the sharks took out the propeller of the fish. They bit off the tail section first, and then they came swooping around again, slow and calm, and then they took out the rest. general perception about bull sharks is that they are just mindless, aggressive hunters. And that is not what we're seeing here. What we're seeing is a calm, more intelligent approach.
It's strikingly similar to a tactic used by a legendarily smart hunter. Killer whales also patiently stalk fishing boats, striking with intelligent surgical precision once trawlers start to bring in their catch. Scientists believe orcas do this to deliberately save energy. Are sharks now rivaling this clever thinking?
Think of it from a shark's perspective. When they hunt, they expend a lot of energy. So a hooked fish presents an opportunity for a more efficient way of getting a feed.
Back beneath the boat, underwater cinematographer Colin catches a glimpse of something unusual.
I think I can see a smaller bull shark. Yeah, definitely a young bull shark. That's really weird.
Cole reckons that he saw a juvenile bull shark. To me, that's unusual. Why would there be a small juvenile bull shark out in the open ocean in adult territory?
Bull sharks have a really interesting reproductive cycle. The females come from the ocean up rivers to lay their pups in freshwater environments.
Rivers offer protection and security for bull shark pups. Only once they reach 6 to 7 feet, or around 8 years old, will they head to the ocean.
If Colin did actually see a juvenile bull shark this far out offshore, that's quite a significant find.
It means there could be a bull shark nursery somewhere nearby.
If that's true, that means juvenile bull sharks are leaving their nursery and they're mingling in with these adults on these fishing grounds. I think that's something that needs further investigation. To prove that there is a nursery, we need to go and catch juvenile bull sharks. And in order for us to do that, we need to go upriver.
Located just 30 miles from the offshore fishing site, the Mission River runs through Weipa and is one of the largest nearby sources of fresh water. Searching for baby sharks in an open river is notoriously difficult. The trick is to follow the food.
We've got a bunch of birds just hanging off under the bridge.
It's good. A lot of birds are a good sign.
The birds are taking advantage of a crowded ball of fish near the surface of the water. It's a sign that normally means there are predators lurking below.
Where we get little fish, big fish follow, right?
That's right.
Maybe we should start to get our gear together.
What do you think we should put down first?
Let's go drum lines first.
Good idea.
In these silty, low-visibility waters, diving is not an option. The team needs to bring whatever's hunting the fish up to them.
This is really actually quite exciting because we think that we found a location where there are juvenile bull sharks.
We're gonna set up some drum lines. Just think about a really long fishing line.
Mine.
Perfect.
He's away. Bring us a little bull shark, please.
Once those yellow floats are no longer visible, or if the entire big float bobs underwater, we're shark on.
They back off the boat and wait for something to bite.
Guys, I think the floats are done.
All right, cool. Yep, the floats are down. We can't see the yellows. It's great.
He's definitely on. He's still on, he's still on. Here he is, here he is, here he is.
Oh, yes, that's a nice little belly.
Okay.
Looks like that could be a bull. That looks like a bull.
Bull
Oh,
shark.
this is great. I think we're on.
This is exactly what we came here for.
Genetic analysis of this juvenile could provide vital details about Weipa's bull shark population, but only after it's brought alongside the boat.
Okay, let's get that tail rope on.
Thank you.
Oh, she's strong. Hang on. She's come back around, swing back around.
Baby bulls are born with a mouthful of razor-sharp teeth. And they're even more agile than adults.
No. He's going too far forward. Just keep us in gear.
Bring him back here. There we go.
They might be small, but they still can bite.
Far out.
Whoa! The fighter. That's great.
Tie it off.
Got him. All right,
Yes.
grab that rope. Ah, it's a
Oh,
female.
it's a female. Hello, cutie.
The shark is under control.
It's 1.40 meters. I would say she's been here for about 5 years.
Measuring under 5 feet, it's highly unlikely this shark traveled here by sea.
She's definitely from this river system, so I'm pretty confident there's even smaller ones around. Capturing this juvenile bull shark indicates that there is a nursery in this river. This means there is an easy connection between this nursery and the offshore population.
An easy connection means more opportunities for juveniles to mingle with adult sharks out at sea.
Bull sharks don't have parental care, and they're usually solitary animals. So seeing them interact together, we get a lot of questions.
Previous research has shown that a lot of species, including sharks, have the ability to learn new behaviours in a social setting. Is that how bull sharks and weeper are actually picking up this depredation behaviour?
Catching a juvenile bull shark also allows Johan and Marielle to test another theory.
All right, we're going to need a biopsy sample. Bull sharks tend to migrate with the seasons because the water temperature changes. So as it cools, bull sharks will move into the more constant, warmer waters.
But that rule might not apply in this tropical part of northern Australia.
Here in the top end, the water temperature doesn't really fluctuate as much.
The sharks around Weipa could be resisting their migratory instincts and putting down roots.
If that's true and they are staying in the one area, that means social learning behaviours could be offloaded to younger sharks more often.
Proving this theory will take years of fieldwork and tagging, but cutting-edge genetic analysis could offer a sneak peek at the results.
DNA can tell us a lot of interesting stuff. We can test it against other populations around Australia. It can tell us if there's any genetic differences. It can also tell us how related sharks are to each other.
I think we're good here. I think we're going to get ready to release, so we're going to take off the tail rope.
Okay, tails out.
Off she goes.
You! Now good!
Oh, nice.
Yes! Well
That was
done.
great.
To complete their investigation and find out if the bull sharks around Weipa are putting down roots, Johan and Marielle need to get DNA samples from adult sharks back out at sea. On the way, there's a temporary diversion. A ping from the fin cam they attached to a big bull shark several days ago.
We're trying to find it by tracking its signal so we can download and get the data.
I think it's coming near the shore.
There it is.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
The data from the FinCam showed us some amazing information. Generally, bull sharks that I've tagged spend more of their time at the ocean floor during the day.
Normally, they use the cover of night to patrol at the surface.
But that's not what we're seeing here in Weipa. We're seeing the bull shark spending time at the water surface and then going all the way back down to the sea floor during the day.
The fin cam captures the shark repeatedly diving and then returning to the surface.
This is what we call yo-yo diving. So the yo-yo behaviour is generally associated with a type of patrolling behaviour. Basically, the shark's looking for food. But why is this bull shark doing it during the day when they're generally nocturnal? That is a significant question.
It's yet another anomaly amongst the local bull sharks.
Is it somehow related to the recreational fishing? Are they looking for recreational fishing catches? This is a good piece of the puzzle. But we have to remember that it is only one animal, one instant, and one video shot so far. But it does start to raise questions.
To conclude something, we really need to get more data first.
It's the team's final day in Weipa. Strong winds will soon force the mothership back to port.
This is our last dive here, and we need to get more DNA samples. Basically, the higher the number of biopsy samples we have is the greater our strength in our conclusions that we can come up with.
To collect the DNA, Johan is armed with a modified spear gun. This will maximize his chances of getting multiple samples from one dive. Wade fishes topside once again to draw the sharks in.
Yes, we've got 2 sharks below us. 2 sharks, over.
Although we're seeing the bull shark, we still need to get them a little bit closer so we can get a biopsy sample from them.
The cage is positioned closer to Wade to increase Johan's chances of a clean shot.
Bull shark at 12 o'clock. 6 or 7 meters out.
It's high noon for Johan, but before he's had a chance to pull the trigger, disaster.
There's this murk coming through.
A cloud of silt envelops the cage.
We're right on the edge of the visibility.
Giant bull sharks just meters away from the divers have become invisible.
The visibility is getting worse and worse.
With fish in the water, an unseen shark could easily collide with the cage.
Service to divers, we have a 20-minute bottom time due to conditions have just started to creep up here. So divers, you've got 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes.
Time is running out to get the DNA samples.
Johan, bull shark to your left. Coming in closer. Take the shot, take the shot. Got him! Yes!
It's the perfect shot. The shark is none the wiser and disappears as if nothing's happened.
Divers, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, over.
There's still a few more minutes on the clock.
We've got another one coming in. Yes! A second biopsy in the bag. Nice shot.
It's another crucial sample.
Divers to surface. You can start bringing us up. Mission success.
Copy, copy. We'll bring you close to the surface.
That was a better dive, wasn't it?
That was awesome. That was great. That actually worked pretty well.
Don't know about you, but I count that as a win.
I think we've done well.
Despite the unpredictable weather, the team have what they need.
We got several biopsy samples from a range of different sizes of bull sharks that we've sent to the laboratory to analyze.
The DNA results are in. It's a small sample size, but they've delivered truly intriguing data.
What the DNA has shown us is that the shark we sampled upriver is half related to the large female that we sampled offshore in that last cage dive.
Further analysis indicates that the third sample is also related to both these sharks.
Due to the small sample size that we have, I'm completely surprised, and I did not expect any of these sharks to be in any way related to each other.
We don't know if it's a mother or a father, but we do know that they're sharing an ancestor between them.
It's a strong family link connecting the bull sharks in the nursery to the adults raiding the fishermen at sea.
It may also implicate that, compared to other areas, these sharks may not be moving in large numbers.
The closer related the sharks, the smaller the gene pool, and the less they could be moving away.
If they're not migrating the large distances and they're spending more time in this one area, that could explain why the depredation events are so much higher and concentrated here in Weipa.
If the populations of bull sharks up here at Weipa are localized, they would be exposed constantly to fishing activities, increasing their likelihood of depredation behaviors.
Together with the presence of the nearby bull shark nursery, it could put Weipa at the epicenter of a perfect storm.
It's definitely possible that juvenile bull sharks could be learning the behaviors from adults.
We've seen smaller sharks leaving the river earlier.
Definitely a young bull shark.
And potentially starting the social interactions and learning procedures at a younger age.
Seeing this bull shark behavior has been amazing. However, it's also been surprising.
The raids on fishermen have been exposed as the work of a methodical, calculated hunter.
They're highly intelligent. They're analyzing their environment before they do anything.
These smart bull sharks might be at the vanguard of an adapting shark behavior that could soon spread elsewhere.
Recreational fishing is increasing worldwide. We're starting to see a lot more anger towards sharks, and that could lead to a downward spiral towards shark conservation. That's why it's important when we get opportunities like up here in Weipa that we grab them with both hands. There's a lot more to uncover, and I am looking forward to coming back and spending a lot more time here.
Shock and horror in a picturesque part of western Cape Breton tonight.
August 2021, and Canada is rocked by news of a shark attack.
A 21-year-old woman from Cape Breton was airlifted to hospital after an apparent shark attack.
It's the first confirmed shark bite in Canadian waters in over 150 years. And just the latest in a number of mysterious shark sightings being reported right across Canada's eastern seaboard. Is the Atlantic's most formidable hunter heading north?
Have you ever been here before?
To Nova Scotia? No. No, you?
No, never been here.
It's winter in Cape Breton, and the shark behind the attack has long since departed.
This is pretty cool up here, huh?
I mean, it's the dead of winter here right now, it looks like. I feel like I'm at the North Pole.
Now, shark experts Megan Winton and Greg Skomel comb the coastline looking for clues.
Unprovoked attacks on humans are extremely rare events, and in particular this far north. Almost unheard of. And there's really just a handful of species that come here in the summertime. And you've got the basking shark, it eats plankton, you know. Forget that, right? You got porbeagles, which tend to be much smaller, very rarely, if ever, implicated in attacks on people. You got blue sharks. Yeah, they're relatively abundant in the summertime, but still, they're not a dangerous shark. So in my mind, it really just leaves one culprit, and that's the great white shark.
White sharks have traditionally been seen as rare visitors to Canadian waters. Up until 2006, there had been just 32 recorded sightings. But in recent years, there have been more and more reports of white sharks heading north.
What are these white sharks doing here? What's drawing them this far north? And those are the kinds of questions we're trying to answer.
Greg and Megan's goal is to put a camera tag on a white shark in Canadian waters for the very first time. If they can tag one, they may be able to learn why more sharks appear to be moving north.
Man, this is wild out here. It's deep water between us and that island.
Off the island of Margaree, Megan uses a drone to survey the attack site.
Oh, wow, look at that. Just beyond the snow, there's a bunch of seals. You see them?
Yeah. Look at those gray seals, right?
I think so, yeah. Look at them. Big slobs, little pockets of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. It's crazy deep, dark water.
Yeah, it looks like it drops right off, right at the shoreline there.
Perfect place for them to hunt. The seals wouldn't see them coming at all here.
Ambush hunters. White sharks like to surprise their prey. Hanging in the deep, their gray backs blend into the background, making them difficult for seals to spot from the surface. Their eyes are highly sensitive to contrasts between light and dark. Seals or a swimmer silhouetted against the surface would stand out in vivid relief.
You know, I can't say with 100% certainty that this is, you know, an incident created by a white shark, but I'm very confident that it was. There's just a lot of evidence. There's plenty of seals here. The habitat is ideal for white sharks. We've got an eyewitness account. They saw a dark fin. You know, as far as I'm concerned, this was a white shark attack. And because it made a bad decision, it's likely it was a juvenile shark, an inexperienced shark.
Megan and Greg now believe they know what type of shark was responsible for the Canadian attack. But there are no signs of white sharks to tag in this near-freezing water. Every year, white sharks undertake huge migrations in the North Atlantic. It's February, and at this time of year, the relatively warm waters of South Carolina are a favorite winter destination. To catch up with the sharks, Greg and Megan are nearly 1,500 miles south in the town of Hilton Head.
It's nice to be warm.
Yeah, this is sweet. Well, I'm psyched to get out on the water here.
Greg and Megan's mission here is to catch and tag as many sharks as they can find and follow them north. The data could point them to where the white sharks are traveling to in Canada and why. To help find them, Greg and Megan team up with Chip Michaelov, who's been tagging sharks for Greg's Atlantic White Shark Study for the last 6 years.
Good to see you.
Chip leads the team 60 miles offshore, where the continental shelf slips away to depths of over 300 feet. The deep water here is the perfect place for white sharks to ambush prey like dolphins. but the depth makes it difficult to tag. The only way to lure one up is using a baited hook.
What the hell happens when we hook up?
Oh my gosh, the adrenaline rush through the roof. I'll tell you one thing, you sleep really good that night.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I want to sleep really good tonight, which means I really want to get one of these fish.
As Chip prepares a white shark favorite of tuna heads, Megan readies 2 tags.
So this is an acoustic transmitter. This is a tag that will ping every minute or so. And whenever a shark swims past an acoustic receiver, which line the whole coast of the US and Canadian Atlantic, we'll get a date and time stamp of when that shark was there.
The second device is a satellite tag.
This logs light level information, temperature, and depth data for a year. And so we'll use this tag to figure out the broad scale movements of that animal over the course of the year. So together, this packs a huge punch.
All they need now is a shark.
The dorsal just pinned.
Yeah, see the
That's okay.
dorsal?
Maybe if I was just
Dorsal's
real
up.
quick.
You guys ready for this?
Where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Right
It's
here.
right here.
Right here. That's
Oh my God, this is amazing.
Drawing a white shark in is one thing, but will it take the bait?
You're coming in towards the bait.
Coming to the bait. Coming to the bait.
Oh, shaking his head. Shaking his head. I've reeled in a lot of big fish in my life, big tunas, a couple of marlin, and this is different.
Feels like I'm trying to stop a truck.
Oh, look at that fish. Wow. That's no small fish.
Yeah.
All right, man, go. Oh my God.
I can't.
Game on! Game on! You can do it, Meg.
Oh my God.
At 9 feet long, it's a juvenile female, a perfect candidate for Megan's tag.
Yeah!
Yes!
Yeah! Nice! Nice work! Yeah!
Tag on. The shark they've named Reese is the 283rd individual to join the biggest study of white sharks in the Atlantic. While her satellite tag will detach in a year's time, the small acoustic pinger will continue to track her movements for another 10 years. Where Reese heads in the coming months will help Greg and Megan build a unique picture of the movements of Atlantic white sharks. And if Shark Reese has a preference for Canada. Over the next few weeks, Chip tagged 7 more white sharks, bringing the total number of Carolina sharks tagged this winter to 8. Over the next 3 months, all 8 head north. A network of thousands of listening stations log the signal from their tags. As the sharks move north, they head towards cooler water. White sharks are the members of an elite family of 5 shark species, known as the lamnids. While most sharks are cold-blooded, lamnids have evolved the ability to keep their bodies warmer than the surrounding water. They can capture the heat they generate as they swim and keep it in their bodies through specialized blood vessels. It's a superpower that allows them to thrive in waters off-limits to most of their cold-blooded cousins. By June, sharks Josiah and Barnacle Bend reach Cape Cod, Massachusetts, the white shark capital of the Atlantic. every year, hundreds of white sharks gather to feed on the huge seal colonies that pepper the coastline here.
Seals are constantly coming and going, you know, but estimates have been anywhere in up to 50,000 seals in that region during the summertime. So it makes sense that a lot of white sharks will come to Cape Cod.
Greg has spent the last decade studying great whites in these waters. He's discovered they like to hunt close to shore, in water as shallow as a few feet.
Yeah, hey John, I got one down here, north end of Monomoy. I'm circling now.
Tagging sharks is much easier here. The water is so shallow, Greg uses eyes in the sky to spot the sharks from the air. There's no need for a hook.
It's 10:30 and a boat and a half. You probably see him.
He's on the port side.
All right, let's get ready here.
Yeah! That's how it's done.
By the end of July, 12 more sharks are tagged, bringing the total in the Atlantic white shark database to 560. But despite the almost limitless amount of seals on offer, several tagged sharks choose to leave the Cape and head north. They're soon joined by shark Reese and her fellow South Carolina sharks, Pavel, Sicklefin, and Eddie, who bypass Cape Cod altogether on their way up towards the Canadian border. To find out what's drawing them to Canada, Greg and Megan follow the sharks back over the border. Their mission remains to find a white shark and deploy the first ever camera tag on the back of one in Canadian waters.
Canada's gonna be a lot different from what Megan and I are used to. You know, we go to Cape Cod, it's a fairly small area, shallow water, lots of white sharks. Up here, much different. You know, lots of space. Finding them's gonna be pretty tricky.
Their first destination is the southern tip of the Nova Scotian Peninsula, some 300 miles south of the suspected white shark attack. Last year, over 20 different white sharks were detected on the listening stations in the area. And local fishermen also report an increase in sightings here.
A little chilly.
How was the drive up?
At the small harbor of Wedgeport, Greg and Megan meet Canadian shark experts Heather Bowlby and Warren Joyce.
Awesome, awesome. You got a spot for us to go?
I think so, yeah.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Heather and Warren have been investigating Canadian white shark sightings for over 5 years.
We're really excited that Greg and Megan were able to come up this year. We only know snippets about white sharks in Canada. We're still trying to work out why they're here, what they're doing while they're here, and the places that they frequent. So it's an open field. There's a lot to answer.
As they head out, Warren and the skipper, Eric Jackard, decide where to start their hunt.
We've had reports on sightings for the last couple of weeks, and then we've actually seen the fish Saturday and Sunday here ourselves. So they're around.
They're around. Okay, well let's hope we get one today.
That's right. Yeah. We've all seen great whites in the area. One of our friends was traveling from the island to home, and he did see an actual seal bit in half. And then another friend of ours, he actually seen the shark throw the seal up in the air. There's been a lot of interesting sightings. It seems to be more and more common these last few years. It seems to be a growing concern.
"5 miles from harbor, Megan preps a brand new kit that could reveal why white sharks are here.
So this is my favorite shark spy tool at the moment. This tag is outfitted with a bunch of different sensors that will tell us exactly how the shark is moving and navigating its environment 20 times a second, which is absolutely an incredible amount of information. The best part about this tag, though, what I love about it, is it has a camera in it that allows us to see what the shark is doing the whole time it's on the animal. It's gonna be a real game changer for us in terms of figuring out how they use Canadian waters.
To attach the new tag, they need to get within 10 feet of the shark. But first, they have the huge challenge of drawing one in. There's been less than 100 confirmed sightings in Canada since records began. To tempt a white shark close, the team depends on baited lines. White sharks have one of the most sensitive noses in the ocean. It's thought 14% of their brains are dedicated to processing smells. Will any pick up the scent? "2 p.m., and the oils leaching off the 3 buoyed bait lines now create a slick several miles long.
The water's super deep. We can't use a spotter plane to find them because the sharks get down a few feet and we can't see them. So in order to get them, we got to entice them, get them in tight so we can tag them.
Minutes turns into hours, and there's still no movements on the buoys. Then, 8 hours into the operation.
Oh, we got something.
Which one's it on?
Number two.
A white shark takes the bait.
Yeah, there it goes. Shark right in the middle.
There it goes. Okay. All right.
To find a white shark on their first day is huge. Heather and Warren have only ever tagged one white shark a year in Canada.
Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs.
How we roll.
They now need to pull in the bait lines to get the shark close enough to tag.
Okay, bring it in a little bit.
Unlike in South Carolina, there's no hook, just the bait to keep the shark interested.
So you're teasing them right up.
Near 3. Now let him come back.
All right.
Tie off. Keep coming. He's interested. So let's see if he'll come for 2 of the close ones.
Look at that. See him up there? Yep. He's off here.
Yeah, there it goes. Diving.
Get ready for an ambush. There he goes. He came right back. Look at that.
But after one last look at the bait, the white shark moves off into the deep.
Pretty sneaky little critter there. So, I mean, the good news is there's white sharks here. The bad news is we can't get them close enough to tag, but we hope that changes.
Heading back to shore, the team review the footage from cameras mounted on the bait lines.
Oh, that's such a good one! So that's when the buoy went down. You out of that, Megan?
Look at that.
Oh, it really wanted that thing. This is awesome.
Oh, it tears it up.
With no claspers visible, the shark is a juvenile female and new to the Atlantic White Shark database.
I think we put this one at like 9, right?
I think so.
A
too.
9 or 10 footer, so not a super big one. Still a big shark, but not really big for a white shark.
Do you think this is typical size you guys are seeing up here?
It seems to be a lot of the juveniles. A lot of the acoustic detections we get, it's in that, you know, let's say 9 to 12 foot range. It's the smaller guys.
Yeah.
It's an important clue, and different to the pattern Greg and Megan see some 260 miles to the south around Cape Cod.
We do see juveniles, but a lot of our resident sharks are big males. And those big males may be schoolyard bullies, you know, pushing these smaller animals into other parts of their range, which include in the summer and the fall, Canadian waters.
In 2019, a drone operator captured sharks clashing off Cape Cod. Could territorial adult males be pushing smaller white sharks north?
We also know there are social interactions between these sharks because we see scars. You know, there are bites, there are injuries that are clearly from other sharks. And is that associated with mating? Certainly it could be, but on juveniles, it could also be associated with negative interactions between sharks. In other words, get the hell out of here, this is my neighborhood.
Territory may just be part of the puzzle of what's drawing sharks north. Canada's Atlantic waters have some of the richest fishing grounds in the world. Sharks in the 8 to 9 feet range are youngsters, and for the most part, fish hunters. The shape of the seabed here, combined with the cold Labrador Current as it mixes with the Gulf Stream, brings nutrients up to the surface. It makes for the perfect conditions for marine life to flourish in spectacular numbers. Canada is also experiencing one of its hottest Augusts on record. Could the mix of so much food and warming waters be part of what draws white sharks north? With strong winds putting a hold on their search, the team decide to split up to check as many listening stations as possible to see if any of their tagged sharks have shown up. Greg heads for one of Canada's most northerly stations in Conception Bay, Newfoundland, over 700 miles to the north. Every spring, icebergs float past the entrance to this bay. Even in summer, the weather is unpredictable, and sea temperatures can plummet with little warning. It's the furthest north white sharks have ever been found. To check if there's been any new sightings, Greg joins up with Mike Piersack from Fisheries and Oceans Canada.
How deep does this bay get?
This fjord gets up to well over 100 meters.
300-400 feet deep? That's incredible. What comes in here?
You'll even get bluefin tuna in here that'll follow the cod in. So sort of a domino effect. Once one comes, they all come.
And I can see why white sharks would want to come in here and visit occasionally.
Yeah, tons
There's a
of
lot
them
to eat. Yeah.
The crew keep a careful watch as the divers do a summer check of the listening stations. If a shark is passed within 1,500 feet, it will record the date and time.
Sorry, the wind's got me, Anna.
Let's fire this baby up.
See what we got.
See if you recognize any of these transmitters. Nothing unusual to you.
No?
No, I don't see any white sharks either. So no detection so far this year. We've got some other receivers to check, but I'm not surprised at all. You know, we are really at the northern limit of this shark's range. And when you're at the northern limit of any species range, you're in a very dangerous place for that species. The white shark is no exception.
White sharks spend most of their time in waters between 52 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. While they can survive in temperatures as low as 39 degrees, spend too long in water this cold, it's thought they can die.
I have certainly seen sharks that have been cold shocked. You know, it's happened very close to where I live on Cape Cod. A bunch of thresher sharks. We had a really significant drop in temperature late in the season, and those sharks became trapped. And they actually washed up on shore, frozen, which was amazing. So it killed them. And certainly we don't see a lot of white sharks go through that. And that's because they probably avoid those areas where those kinds of temperature extremes can happen rapidly.
Back in Nova Scotia, the weather has cleared enough for Megan and Warren to check local listening stations to see if any more white sharks have arrived.
All right, 9142.
9142?
That's one of our fish.
That's me.
All right, Dropbox. 9142, who are you? Ah, that's one of Chip's.
One of Chip's?
That's awesome. He's gonna be so excited.
Shark 9142 is a South Carolina shark known as Asheville. She was tagged by Chip on March 8th, 2019. At 9 foot, she's another juvenile, around 16 years old. Females reach adulthood when they get to around 15 feet. And just like the other sharks tagged in Carolina, Shark Asheville spent the spring moving up the eastern seaboard. She arrived in Cape Cod on June 23rd and stayed for 7 days. She first pinged in Nova Scotia on July 18th. It's the third time Asheville has been detected in Canadian waters. And she's not alone.
No.
Who's that?
3 more sharks are detected on the listening station.
Hold on, I've got to double check.
One is a big male called Mr. Frisky,
So exciting.
On the 23rd, yeah.
but the rest are all juveniles. A pattern is emerging. 3 days later, and with evidence of white sharks in the area, the team are back together in Wedgeport, Nova Scotia, trying once again to get a camera on the back of a shark. Within minutes, one checks out the baited lines.
Oh, here it is.
He's on yours.
If they can get the camera tag on, it will be a first in Canadian waters and could reveal what they hunt here.
All right, tag's ready.
It's a good sized fish.
Right here,
Get back.
right here.
Get back, back.
Yeah, look right there. Oh, Greg, you got it. Oh, it's still too deep.
A little too deep.
Oh.
Sliding past you. Oh. He just grabbed the ball.
Oh.
Damn it.
It's the second close miss for Greg and Megan.
I think if I haven't been doing this for decades, I probably would throw myself overboard because it's very disappointing. You think you have that shot, but when in doubt, don't, right? And that's what I did. I held back. Shark passed, I think, a little too deep, snagged another bait and took off. And then, you know, all you do is hope you get one more shot.
With just 4 days left of the expedition and time running out to get a camera tag on a shark, the team decide to try a new location.
What we're seeing with the receivers that we've checked so far is there's little pockets of activity, different places along the coast. And one of the most active spots seems to be the Bay of Fundy. So it might be a great idea to head there and maybe we'll get a camera tag out down there. It's probably our best bet. Fingers crossed.
The Bay of Fundy lies just north of the U.S. border. It's home to the highest tidal surges on Earth. At this time of year, warm, humid air from the land mixes with cool sea air, creating thick patches of fog. This will be their last chance to get the camera tag on a shark. And conditions could not be tougher. They begin to bait the water once again.
Currents here are absolutely amazing. You know, we got a 20, 30-foot tidal difference, and that water comes in and out pretty quickly. So I think that's gonna spread the scent trail around. These sharks are so well tuned to finding scent that it works in our favor. We'll see.
Shark! Shark! There we go.
Game on, game on.
Okay, bring all the floats in. Warren, if it's pulling you, let the rope go.
Let it go.
Let it go. No, no.
Oh, oh!
There it
That's
is.
a white shark.
Yeah, that is a white
Look
shark.
at him. You gotta see this. That was incredible.
Ah!
Jeez.
Oh, there she is, right here. Yep. Greg, this side. She's going under the boat.
Boy, she's fast.
She is fast.
There he is.
Awesome. Look at this. Look at this.
There she is.
Oh, she's got you. Yeah! Who did I hit? Who did I hit?
It's the first time a camera tag has ever been deployed on a white shark in Canada. It will record every move the shark they've nicknamed Quaddy makes for the next 24 hours, then release.
Oh, that was fantastic. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
I'm still shaking. Like probably half an hour later because I'm still so excited.
The team tracked Quaddy using a hydrophone to pick up the signal coming from his tag.
Oh, yay.
It's scanning, and it'll send out the signal, and it'll bounce back 55001, so it's found it.
Woo! Oh, okay, cool.
Staying close to the shoreline, Quaddy hugs the seabed at 75 feet. There's so much plankton in the water, visibility is less than 3 feet. Sensors log his depth, speed acceleration, and even direction.
Oh, this might be it coming back now. Yep.
Out in deeper water, Quaddy stays in the top 200 feet of the water column. Unusually for a white shark, never diving any deeper. Then 30 minutes in, he suddenly speeds up and heads south. And they lose Quaddy's signal.
Found zero.
"24 hours later, the tag releases. Megan uses a radio signal to locate it.
Whoa! Oh, Basker! A big Basker! That's amazing!
Big basking shark?
A Basker! It's beautiful, it's huge!
This place is an aquarium.
That was a big fish. So cool.
All right. There it is. Beautiful.
Thank God!
Nice. Look at that. What this is right now is just a treasure trove of information.
All right, so here we go.
Okay.
Back at base, the team pore over the footage.
Oh, neat.
Wow.
It just went straight to the bottom, and there's not a lot of light.
Yeah, you put yourself down on the bottom there. First of all, it's hard for anything else to see you.
Certainly, yeah.
Because you have a really dark back. And you're probably blending in really well with that rocky, dark bottom.
But then it definitely goes out into deeper water. Not for very long, though.
No.
Like, it makes a couple quick zigzag dives, and then the rest of the track, it stays pretty shallow in warmer kind of surface waters.
Look at that.
It must have turned around.
It's, oh, you could just see the side of it. It's going after something. Wait, whoa.
Wait,
Wait.
What was that?
Okay, we gotta go back. We gotta slow-mo it, because, like, a lot of times with these things, it just happens so fast. I can't even.
Because it definitely turned.
Oh, yeah.
Looked like it grabbed something.
Okay, so it's got its head pointed up now. And then the next shake.
Right there.
Yeah. It's got something in its mouth. I mean,
That's definitely something in its mouth. The shark just fed.
I guess it could be dogfish, it could be skates, it could be halibut, flatfish on there.
I don't know.
It's big enough it had to bite it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep, it did.
It's the first glimpse at what white sharks are up to in Canadian waters.
so this is really incredible for us to see. I mean, this is one shark, right, that's gotten a camera tag off of Canada so far. But I can already tell you that they operate so differently in this environment than they do off of Cape Cod. A lot of people think of them as only seal eaters or mammal eaters, but they have a very diverse diet and they're very opportunistic predators, which allows them to take advantage of all these wonderful, productive, unique habitats throughout the course of their migration.
September 3rd, and much of Canada breaks its heat records. It's the last day of Greg's trip. To find out if sea temperatures could be influencing shark numbers in the Canadian Atlantic, he heads up to Newfoundland to meet Frederick Sear at the Memorial University.
We have this monitoring program going on for about 30 years right now.
Yep.
And yeah, we monitor how the ocean is behaving, and we seem to see a warming up over the recent years, especially at the surface.
Really?
Yeah.
Could warming surface waters be allowing white sharks to penetrate further into Canadian territory?
This is sea surface temperature average over decades. So you have the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, 2010s. And what you see is basically, if you look at that, you see the isotherms moving up.
That is absolutely amazing. Look at that shift in the black line. And that indicates that white sharks are likely to arrive earlier, spend more time here, leave a little bit later. I mean, I think this is really cool. And it would explain why, you know, more white sharks would come to these areas.
One thing is that underneath the surface, as soon as you hit about 50 meters, it will still remain pretty cold. So we will find here in the middle of the summer waters below 0 degrees Celsius.
Really? Now that's really cool, and I'll tell you why. We've tracked a bunch of our white sharks from Cape Cod, from parts south, as far south as South Carolina. They move up here in the summertime. They love these warm surface waters, you know, but once they get down to about 150, 160 feet, the 50 meters you're talking about, they only go down for a short period of time.
It's exactly the dive pattern white shark Quaddy showed on the camera tag.
What makes perfect sense to me, because you're telling me if they go any deeper, it's too cold for them.
Well, I wouldn't like to be there. I mean,
No,
0
no.
degrees Celsius, I don't know how.
They can't do it. They just absolutely can't do it. So it's really cool because we're seeing that the bulk of our fish spend almost all their time in that warm surface layer.
With white sharks in Canada trapped in the surface layers of the ocean, and the evidence from the camera tag confirming they're opportunistic hunters. The team's review of the year's listening station data brings further revelation. A lot of sharks, normally seen off Cape Cod, are here.
This is really interesting because a lot of these, so broken tail, scary shark, Mr. Frisky, a lot of them were like kind of our resident sharks for years. They didn't even, don't have any detections of them this year. It's really interesting that some of these guys seem to have kind of shifted.
I'm also seeing a lot of South Carolina fish.
A lot
as well, you know, but not a lot of big adults.
Plotting the detections on a map, the scale of the white shark presence becomes clear.
They're kind of just blowing up everywhere at the same time.
We thought it was quite amazing how many sharks we saw up here this year. There were 78 of them, 78 individuals, which is the most we have seen in Canada since we started monitoring.
That's crazy. Off of Cape Cod, we detected 120. If that puts this in perspective at all, that's a lot of activity up here.
It's evidence Canada is a white shark hotspot, particularly for inexperienced juvenile sharks, and may explain why Canada witnessed its first shark bite in 150 years.
It's been a phenomenal year for me. If you asked me a few years ago, what do you think about white sharks in Canada? I'd say, yes, they go there, but I didn't realize the presence of these animals. These sharks are spreading out almost throughout Canadian waters. This is an ancient animal. It's been around for millions of years. It's a survivor because it can adapt, and it will continue to adapt. We're going to keep seeing white sharks off Canada, and quite possibly we'll see more.